Hello, welcome to this tutorial. My name is Emnot, and today we're going to see how we're actually going to learn how we can create comment boxes with arrow pointers. You've seen this in tooltips, in some image sliders and the rest. So this is it. Actually, you would probably see such things in a comment, a blog comment, yeah, something like this. So this is not actually new to you, but we are going to learn how we can create this with purely CSS, no images, just CSS. Well, now to begin, we would maybe want to take a look at what's really happening here. You might be wondering how this arrow is coming right at the far left of this container here, and how it's actually able to get this sort of the continuous what I would call continuous border. But don't worry, you'll be able to understand all this. So we'll get straight into I'm using Sublime, whichever text editor you'll be using to try create the same thing, you'll get the same result. So it's not about the text editor. You can use Notepad++, and the rest to get the same result. So we'll get started. I'll create a basic HTML structure. I'm pretty sure you have an idea about this, so I will not explain anything. Right, here we are. So this is my basic HTML structure. I'm going to save it my desktop and give it a name like comment box with an arrow. Pretty long name. This is actually weird. You probably don't want to name your files like this, but this is just because I've lost naming. So it's HTML, and there we are. So our file is right there at our desktop here. So here is the file. Well, so here we continue. So we'll first of all create a div. I'm going to create a div in the body, and I'm going to call this div, I'm going to give it a class, and I'm going to call it comment box. So that's the class I've given the div, and inside this div I'm going to write there a paragraph, and the paragraph is just going to be as simple as this. This is a comment box with an arrow pointer. Good to go. So there we are. If we save this and we check this in our browser, we'll be having something not really nice yet, but we'll want to have a look at it. So this is what we have. So we'll go ahead and give it some style. So I would prefer it to come a little inside the body, not so far at the edge. So I'll go ahead and give it some style. So I will write my style just at the head here. You can as well separate it in a different file, then you link it here. It still makes the same, it doesn't make a difference. So but here I'm just going to write it right straight away just between these head tags, and you should as well get the same result even if you separated it in a different file. So here we are, and I want to style the comment box now, the div comment box. So I would want it to come a little inside, so I'll give it a margin of something like 100 pixels. That can work. Yeah, just a little inside. That's good. I think that's all I want. and maybe probably a border to make it look nice. I would want to have a border, and I will have it like a pixel, so solid 1 pixel, and I would like the color to be this kind of gray. So, and still I would want something like a width of about 300. The height is automatic, I don't have to set that, and I would probably want to position it. Now the position is important here, because I will give it relative, because I would want the elements right inside to be, for me to be able to position them wherever I would want. And that's really important, because we'll need to position certain elements right inside. So here we're having our comment box now already styled. We can have a look at it, see how it is. So this is what we have. This is good. And then I would want the paragraph as well to have some border, so that it's not so much at the edge. So maybe style the paragraph as well. And I would want to give it just a padding of 0 top, but at the left and the right I give like 10 pixels. Yeah, that's good. Let me check out, see how far we are. So this is good. So we will now we are done with the comment box. Now we will now come straight away to creating this. Now this is just a triangle. It's a triangle that's actually created from an impression of using what we'd call border. So it's a border width that creates that impression of a triangle. So we'll go ahead and really actually do the talk. Here we'll go ahead and create what we call pseudo elements. So we have some, you must have seen pseudo elements like before. You've actually worked with over when you're styling, and then here we're going to work with something to do with before and after. So this is a pseudo element before. You can as well use double. So maybe before, to introduce you to this element, this is a pseudo element that will actually create how should I call it, a pseudo that will actually create a pseudo element to the browser. So this element is actually considered to be fake, like it's just fake, it doesn't exist in. That's how I would probably make it, but you can read about it, you can go with, see what the proper definition and how to use it, but we'll use it today to create our impression of a pointer. So we'll precede it with a single full colon, and because we are styling it in a comment box, so this is what we actually going to style. So it's a comment box and it's a before. We open our brackets and here we are. So we'll start off. First of all, I'll give it a position of absolute, because I'm going to, it's now absolute in relation to this. This is the parent, this is the parent div, and this is the child element paragraph. Rather, this is the parent div that's containing a pseudo element that we are actually creating right now. So this element is going to have, maybe even just at the start here, because this is important, this element is going to have something to do called a content, and now this content is going to be nothing, it's going to be empty. So with an empty content is now where we begin to build our triangle. This is how we build the triangle. We write a border and then give the border a border style, give it a border width. We can give it 14 pixels, and maybe give it a color. I'm going to give it black for now, just for you to be able to understand what's actually happening. And I will give it a display of inline block. that's okay. So I would want to take it to the browser so you can see what's happening. So what's happening is that there's now this little black box that has been formed. Now maybe to look deeper into it, when we inspect this element and check out in our elements here, we find that there's this element here which we have just created, but this element without content, it's not there. So if we had not put the content, you'd actually not see this. So it's actually the border that builds up that. Now and actually these are triangles. When we reload again, this is actually a triangle. There's a triangle right here coming. It's originating from the center of this box, because this is where we are having like something I would call like a dot, because that's like the nothing of like I would call it like to be a dot, and it's from this dot that we develop the border, and the border actually has a border width of 14 pixels right from the center to this point here. So just like that, so it creates an impression of a triangle. Yeah, maybe to make this look a little clearer to you, I'm going to pull out actually to show you as one of the triangles in those. This is how I'm going to do it. We're going to create the border, and we choose the border at the top. Maybe we choose the left. We'll choose the right, and we want to give it a color, a different color from black. So let's give it white, so we'll be able actually to see this triangle coming out of this little black box. So when we refresh this, you'll notice that there is now this kind of V thing that enters right here. So here we have this, and there's actually another triangle. This is as well another triangle, like at the top, at the left, and at the bottom. So if we change the color for the top, you would see that triangle actually coming out from here. So it's this same little box that we will carry and put at the far end here, so as to get that impression. This is how we do it. We are going to add the top. Oh, sorry about that. So we'll create the top, and maybe say we want like 30% in relation to the parent div, and maybe a left of we say maybe negative 20. We can change that 20% in relation to the parent. So we can go ahead and actually look at this from our browser, so we can see. Well, this is too much, but we can still change it. So this is our little box, but we would want to pull it just next to the border here. To do this better, we'll come here and try to get the right positioning we need. So this is too much. We will reduce to 99. So 9 is good. Yeah, 9, 10. We'll put it to 10. So 10 is okay. And we'll come here. We change this to 10. Okay. So there we are. So you're actually looking at that triangle that's coming just next to this to create that impression. Now, how do we deal with this, the part that has actually been left out, this black part? What we will do with that is we will change the border color for that to be transparent. So we'll just have to change this to transparent, so we'll not have the black part. But because now to make this look clear to you, I'm going to change this color to maybe the gray color, so we can change this to transparent, and you'll have, so you can transparent, so you can have a glimpse of what I'm actually talking about. So when we load this, you look at this, because I've just changed this from white to this, so you having that, and now this is good. So to create the impression of the border across, because if we change this to white, if we change this, the little triangle we just made to white, to the white color, we are going to have almost just, or rather it's not it, let me reload first. If we change the little triangle this to white, we will almost have it disappearing, because it looks like our body color now. So we will leave it to the grayish color, to the gray color. So we will create another triangle just to come near it there, but then we will like separate them with a pixel, and that will create an impression of a border alongside this triangle. So what we will do is we will create another pseudo element, and we will put this before. So we'll go ahead and say comment box, I'll call this after, and then we'll have almost everything the same. Content will be nothing. We have a position of relative, rather absolute, then the border of solid, can give it still 14 pixels, and we'll make this as well transparent. Now I will not give it this a color, because I feel you could have maybe understood how triangles are made through CSS, by CSS. So giving this a color would be showing you the same thing over and over again. So we'll give it transparent, and give a border right color. Sorry about that. We'll give it now the white, because now we would want it to look like that, to look like our box. The reasons why we are giving it white is because we want it to look just like the background of our comment box here, the div of comment box. So we'll give it the white color. There we are. And now we will give it a display of inline block, and so we'll give it a top the same of 30%, and now the left is now the one that we have to play around with. So I'm going to first give the left the same as our initial, oh sorry about that, as our initial pseudo element. So we'll move it together so you actually get the idea. Now you realize that there's now a triangle right here, but it's already covering the one behind. We'll go ahead and check out. This is the first triangle created, and now this is the second triangle, but because they are at the same point, with edge and everything the same except the color, it's now almost kind of covering the former triangle. So what we'll do, we will try to change the position of this triangle that's at the top by shifting it a little inside. So we'll reduce the left, we'll reduce the left to like 9, and there we are. So you realize that this later triangle we just created is now actually, if I moved it, you would see it actually moving. Check out that. So it's just coming in like a pixel behind the one at the back, to create that impression of like a border. maybe to make it look a little nicer, we would want to shift it so that it touches this edge here. So we'll have to reduce a little our, so we'll make this go to 9, and we'll come to this and make this 8. So when we save this, go to our browser, reload, we will have this. So this is actually what we've been working to get. And there we are having our comment box with an arrow, a triangular arrow, and this really looks pretty nice. And you can actually go ahead, play around with this code. You can choose to put this at the top, you can choose to put it at the right, at the bottom, whichever way, and you can actually make it look pretty better than this, and yeah, you can have it your way. So thank you for sticking around, and please subscribe. For any comments, for anything you've not understood, you can ask it through the comment box, and I'll be able to reply you as soon as I can. Thank you. See you next time.